Blow almost receiving a pass from Stamina, so it's clear that the trust is there, but the defense might not be. Stamina's there, saving the top shelf shot. Salty towards net, Turbo clearing the lines, and Loughborough, they are a little bit on their back wheels, but they're still keeping this Lancaster side at arm's reach as Nando dropping it down, blocked out by Jay. Salty Sea Dog waiting for the pass, and Turbo gets in the way. Benji towards the backboard. Stamina will have to clear out the back lines, gets the block in there as Salty Sea Dog pushing it towards middle. Big demo coming in from the Loughborough team to help clear up the defense, but it won't help them for long. It's still Lancaster. It's still all roads leading to the orange net. As Jay can't quite pinch it in towards the center. This Lancaster team, they are starting off absolutely formidable.
Well, Lancaster, they're such a strong side, and you expect big things from Loughborough too, to be fair, and either way, it's a best of 7. You've got time to ease into it, although I like to think of it as, some teams, they'll take that first game, they'll think it's fine, we can work back from it. But if you're that team more with that aggressive mentality of we're going to win this game, well, we don't want to worry about, going down and then working back into the series, you put yourself in an instant advantage. And although you haven't got to worry about, that losing game 2 and forced into a reverse sweep, losing game 2 is still difficult.
Here we go.
You want to make sure that as soon as possible, you're striking. That would have been a great opportunity, but again, as much as Lancaster been putting pressure on this orange goal, Loughborough, they've been holding out really well.
It seems to me that the transition is the big problem that's coming in through for Loughborough at the moment. At the moment, Stamina trying to drop it down, can't find a way. Turbo going high, again, blocked by Jay. This is time for Loughborough to come in to try and block Lancaster out. Dropping to Nando. Benji finding the clear. Loughborough will have to run back to defense. Let's see if they can break out again, but let's see if their transition is still a problem. Yes, the midfield is still getting blocked. This is a tricky little thing for Loughborough to have to crack down against this Lancaster side. But again, Lancaster very comfortably holding this midfield line, making it extremely difficult for Loughborough to get out. For me, this comes down to the transition. If Loughborough can keep getting that transition, keep moving up the field, they might be able to get this game. They are looking threatening now, as they have, but it is still in the balance.
And we're seeing Lancaster, they've got 3 shots, but only 1 save from Loughborough, meaning 2 of those shots have gone into the postal crossbar, which means not quite as clinical as you're hoping for. If you are Lancaster, maybe this is a chance. Salty Sea Dog wants to fish for that in. No, it's going to get back. Stamina as well, forces it off to the side, but Jay gets the demo. Jay with a second demo. He does love a demo. Now, Benji, what can he do? Off the crossbar, there's options. There's so many options, but no one from Lancaster able to force through. And the fact that Loughborough, they survived that onslaught, they survived what was seemingly an open net, and still keep a clean sheet. That is amazing from them. Now a couple shots from them and Lancaster being forced into a few nice saves as well. It's meaning that we're really seeing, this nice battle between these two teams. It's no longer just that onslaught onto that orange side of the pitch. Instead, they're balanced and they're showing how balanced they can be.
Going to the last minute, 2 legendary names in University Rocket League still trying to battle it out just to even get 1 goal to get in the lead. Salty Sea Dog, what an angle! Finds the dish and finds the opening goal. A bit of a caster's curse there on my part, but it's still the Salty Sea Dog that earns the goal.
And that is so deserved as well. You would have expected Lancaster to have 1 earlier in this game, but the fact they've got it now, that still works for them, of course, and now the clock is on their side. I think, after a minute and a half left on the clock, then it starts becoming a factor, whether it's a tied game, you're on the offensive or defensive. As if you can just get the second one here, it puts them in such a good position, but no force back. And as we look towards that 30-second mark, it really starts to create Loughborough, forcing them into frantic positioning, which they've had a couple of, when they're trying to force through that transition, as I mentioned earlier. They haven't done anything too detrimental just yet, but there's chances, of course, and every single second they'll just be glancing up towards that timer, making sure that they've got time. If they need to keep it off the floor at 0 seconds, that's going to be difficult. That changes their playstyle, and that means that once more Lancaster could potentially strike.
Last few seconds here, Lancaster still holding this first game, and it will have to be a huge clutch for the Loughborough side to bring it back. Kept in the air, blocked out by Benji. There's the drop. Lancaster, the original dynasty of Rocket League in University, will be taking game 1 against Loughborough.
And yeah, it seemed deserved, of course. There was a bit of fight back you saw from Loughborough, but they weren't quite able to break through. So it's something that They definitely need to manage, and I'm sure they will, given they are such a strong side. You expect them, not to roll over. We saw many sweeps actually last week, but we will. I mean, you only assume. You want game sixes at least, both for content and also you don't want a team to just be knocked out of the tournament without any real fight back. I think that ruins it a bit. You want that content. You want teams to feel at least a bit of confidence as they exit the tournament.
And like I said during the game, and like you've sort of agreed with the transition, this is again a battle of the midfield. This comes down to that one thin line down the middle of the pitch that is constantly being blocked out by Lancaster. Yes, they did survive a few scares when Loughborough did manage to break through and get on the attack, but for the majority of the game, that midfield line was completely blocked. Loughborough had no way of getting through, and that denied so many opportunities and so many counter-attacks from being played through in towards the Lancaster net. So, what does Loughborough need to do? I think this is a case of just being confident, sending someone upfield, sending up for the pass, and seeing if you can get a quick counter on this Lancaster side. They do sit at the midfield, so if you're able to power over them, power through them, it could be an open net.
Yeah, playing in a more methodical and calm manner is something which is much easier said than done. Oh, that would have been really nice, actually.
Oh, no.
Again, we're going to see another double commit. I was just about to come to this point. They're not really playing as calm and collected as you want. Instead, the double commit there when they were trying to force through a couple times on at least the transition. Last game, you saw there would be one Loughborough player as they forced it through. They'd somehow fake their own teammate out because their own teammate dives to the ball trying to go for a 50. Turbolo might want to force something through, and Nando trying to go for a bump as well. Maybe the couple that Jay got in the last game got to them, but I doubt that. You assume they've got that mentality, and well, again, like you say, the halfway line, it's peppered with Lancaster players, and as soon as it goes over, they have to retreat. They don't have momentum, and they're going to be forced onto the back foot. As long as they don't make too many mistakes here, they should be okay. Turbolo to keep pressure up, and Stamina, well, the main man last week, if he can just repeat what he was able to do, that is horrible. That could drop down and spell disaster. Double commit. The chance, maybe. You have to assume, how has this not gone in? There's so many opportunities, but no one from Lancaster able to capitalize. They've given themselves so many chances this series, but still nothing goes in.
It's still stuck just outside of the net. Stamina moving forward. Here's a chance for Loughborough. Big 50. Massive 50. Here comes Nando. Drop down found. Can't get it past Salty. But Turbolo coming through. Keeps the pressure on this Lancaster side. Stamina. Another just a team bump coming through. But still, this is good pressure coming in from Loughborough. They just need to convert. As Nando pops it into the middle. Here's Turbolo. Goal. The first one for Loughborough in the series. It's what could, in fact, if the previous game is something to go by, one could be all they need.
And in a series like this, when we've seen, well, this game and a bit already, I don't know if these are going to be high-scoring games. Now, I've said that, so this is probably going to have 8 goals or something ridiculous. But, cast a curse, be damned. If, Lancaster, they've had opportunities, but they haven't managed to put these through, whether it's a double commit on defense or they've got a nearly open net. They just need to tuck it past one defender or, win that final 1v1. It's hard, and Loughborough, when they're trying to just push forward, give themselves some sort of offensive pressure, they're their own worst enemy, whether it's a team bump or taking the boost of a teammate, so instead there's no opportunity. And actually, that's going to be Jay putting it in, and oh my goodness, Salty Sea Dog sets it up. Absolute dime, but you'll see Benji swooping in below, taking out that defender that wants to just go for anything. There's nothing there, not when you're taking out the game like that.
Good night, Nando. Benji sweeping across. Takes that one. That's all that's needed. Equalizer is already here. So already the highest scoring game in the series. Fantastic. Incredible. Just under half the game. Sea Dog keeping it out of the center. Nando bringing it round. Trying to drop it down. Cleared by Benji. Jay out to the midfield line. Here's where the trouble comes for Loughborough. Lancaster have the midfield line now. They have the pressure. Turbolo coming through for the clearance. But Salty Sea Dog again, the first one to challenge. First one to get to the ball. Gets round. Stamina bringing it dangerously across net. But no one from Lancaster going in to dive on top of the ball. Nando, big clearance. Stamina up. Sends it high. Takes Salty Sea Dog a little bit out of the play. but still not enough. Stamina towards the side. Nothing quite going for either team as Salty sends it towards net. No demo, and Turbolo goes through. Here's a runaway ball. Can Loughborough get a hold of it? They don't get the boost. That drops down to the middle. Nando can't get the touch. Stamina will need to come through before Salty Sea Dog lets him have it. But things coming towards Loughborough just a little bit now. Turbolo can't find a way under. Nando's shot blocked by Jay. This is great defense from Lancaster. They're blocking each and one of every single one of Loughborough's shots. Can they counter? No. Again, the midfield line is the stopping point for both teams before they can even progress further towards the net.
It's a game of the most aggressive ping pong I think I've ever seen, and that's going to be a miss. That really could have been the chance. There's a lot more shots in this series, at least, in the favour of Lancaster. Loughborough, they've got 1 in this game and 4 total. Salty Sea Dog wants a chance again. That's just wide. Nando needs to make sure that he maintains some sort of possession and gives his team still a chance to stay relevant in this. And again, Jay wants to back off, but has that clearance. Benji instead subbing out for the offensive role here. Stamina taking out the game. That's a good bump as well. Salty Sea Dog can't quite. There was an opportunity, but putting it through just seems to be one arc too many. Nando can get the clear, but you can only assume that soon enough, one of the boys in blue will turn around and they'll put this ball right back into the mix. So that's nearly in, and that's going to be Salty Sea Dog again.
Oh, shot!
Question, and only just as Jay instead puts this in. That's well done. That is very well done. Actually, to find that gap, that angle was phenomenal.
That double touch by Jay really questioning this Loughborough defense to try and get to the pitch of the ball, try and read the play, but absolutely nothing that the Loughborough team could do. As soon as they let it bounce, that was it. It was there for the Salty Sea Dog to put it into the back of the net. Nando taking it towards the side. Going for a little bit of a different route. Try and go take it up the wall and take it forward. Stamina blocked out by Benji. Lancaster might be taking this game too. They just need to hold out as Turbolo goes on the attack. Can't get the 50. Here comes Nando though. Comes off the diagonal in towards the center. Needs to be kept up by Stamina. It's done so. Jay clearing it upfield. That is a great actually bump at the midfield line to keep everyone away from the ball. On Lancaster will be taking game 2.
And this is where it does get a bit tricky, of course. If it was a best of 5, this would be not over, but very difficult for Loughborough to come back from. And I'm not saying it's easy for them to come back from at this point. Down 0-2 in a best of 7, they still need... This next game is pretty much a must-win, of course. Both these teams, I believe they've experienced sweeps of some sort, whether it's being on the giving or receiving end of them in this bracket. So they know what it's like, whether it's, having to fight back from or understanding what the opponent will have to fight back from instead. And Lancaster, they've just been so much better. They've got 10 shots to the 4 of Loughborough in this entire series, and having more than double, even though it's only been 2 games, really gives you that idea, especially when there was only 1 in this. I mean, Loughborough, they put it through, and Turbolo managed to open up the scoring, but it wasn't enough. They couldn't maintain that pressure, and instead Lancaster, they didn't get complacent. They didn't want to wait around and hope for the next game. No, they wanted to make sure that the 1 goal wouldn't be all that it took to win this game. Instead, fighting back well, connecting. There were a lot of bumps and demos, and it's even more than anything that Loughborough actually they were straying away from their goal from their own half to chase the demo or a bump on a very, very far back Lancaster player, maybe putting them out of position and opening up that positioning instead for Lancaster to again instead pounce with their 2 remaining players on the pitch. So a lot to work on, and there's a lot to digest in terms of what we did just see, but there's positives from both sides. Lancaster, of course, more so. Loughborough, still a tough ask for them to come back and fight back in this series.
I think the big thing that came down for Loughborough is they relied heavily on getting 50-50s to be able to progress the ball. There weren't any passes, there weren't any solid dribble plays to take it past any of the players of Lancaster. They relied on the 50-50s. Sometimes they work out, just like that. Turbolo putting it in towards net, and the challenge has to be sorted out by Benji. But still, there's a 50-50 going just about right. But still, it's not a solid opportunity for this Loughborough side. They need to work on these passes. They need to work on playing together. And here we go. There's a positive caster's curse as they start to try and bring that in and almost find the net off it. Nando looking for the flip reset, trying to fake out the Salty Sea Dog. Won't find a way through in that way. Stamina trying to take control, takes it past one. Turblo comes through with a little bit of help, dropping down in front of net. Salty Sea Dog has to clear the lines. Within the first minute, this is a much more positive Loughborough team challenging this Lancaster side.
Oh yeah, they managed to create opportunities, and although it wasn't put through, they've potentially just shined a light on what they could do next, and they know what they need to do. It's just about making sure they repeat the pressure they put up. It was amazing to see, and unfortunately, instead, I think they're going to be put on the back foot here. Lancaster, they want to push through. They want to prove that they're not out, and as much as we saw a nice few shots in succession from Turblo and Loughborough, Lancaster, they won't give up. That could be a no. Nando has to go for a great save. That is only just kept out, but it doesn't matter. The pressure's going to be off.
It's still Lancaster's possession. Still Lancaster's ball. Salty takes a shot. Stamina is there to get a catch, but there's a bump. Turblo's in the way. This is a whole rotation of Loughborough taking it in turns to be the savior of the team. Turblo off the backboard, sending out towards the side. There's Stamina. That's a much better transition. That's what I'm looking for out of this Loughborough side. Jay, bring it out towards Turblo, towards Nando. Pops up into the air. Big 50. That'll drop down to the center. Gives Loughborough a little bit of time to regroup and recenter the ball. Stamina. Play it towards the net. But again, the 50-50 does go wrong. They need to resort that idea, and they have resorted it. Stamina in the middle. Turblo with the assist. And I have to say, this chemistry, everything that we said at the start of this game, is coming together for Loughborough now as they take the lead once again.
I think you can even classify the defense that Loughborough had to put up there as a positive. Of course, they had so many shots rifled at them. I think 6 or 7, yeah, 7 even. They managed to get 6 saves throughout that. Stamina 3 of his own, Turblo 2, and Nando 1. They all played such an integral part in that, and the ability to keep that out in the way that they did, I think should genuinely be really, really commended. They had to work tooth and nail to make sure that they kept that clean sheet, and well, they managed to again get that transition. That midfield wasn't an area that they struggled with, and instead they turned it into a goal. They had the pressure at the start, they couldn't get it through. They then managed to sustain themselves on defense and turn it back around. They didn't get in their own heads about it. They didn't get upset. They didn't, drop their heads or lose mentality. They kept at it and they made sure to fight through. And again, they've got themselves a goal in this game.
I think the less we say about that one, the better.
Yeah,
all of Loughborough getting beaten. Big challenge. Nando goes past. Salty takes it past another. Completely open net. Job done for Lancaster. They bring it back to equal. This is looking scarily like the last game where Loughborough did take the lead, managed to find a way through, but Lancaster were just on their tails the entire time. Drop to the mill. Nando's there to shot just off target. Benji will have to clear the lines. Here's possibly a chance for Loughborough to spring a bit of a counter-attack. Stamina coming through. Off the sidewall, past the seconds. Salty's the last one back. We'll have to deal with this off the backboard. Popping it out. Nando winning out on the 50-50. So that takes a bounce off towards the side. Benji's there first. Just not enough of Loughborough really pulling the trigger on the offense. Really just challenging and getting in Lancaster's face as they do that now. Stamina going early for that challenge, going for the bump, really confusing this Lancaster team as 2 of them go for it. Nando has a shot, going low, saved by Benji. Well sorted out on the defense by Lancaster, one going sort of mid-level to high and one going low. Benji, shot on, Stamina will take it past, a little bit of a double commit. Turblo will be on their own, taking this out from defense. Stamina can't get off the ceiling. Here comes Salty. Puts into the center. Turblo again clearing. But this is a lot of pressure. This is a lot of pressure being put on this Loughborough side that they will have to cope with just for a little bit before they can spring any form of counterattack to go after this Lancaster team.
This is a game that seems to be the most balanced that we've seen so far. Both teams having a plethora of shots and saves. They've got pressure in both halves of the field, and again, that transition, which we'll keep mentioning as long as this series progresses.
Salty!
It's such an incredible, oh my goodness, that would have been amazing. At top corner, it is going to be put in, and only just is it. Well, Nando with the initial, Turblo gets the demo, Nando with the shot, Salty Sea Dog can't recover for the second, and there you go. That is how you do it. That's how you get the ball. That's how you take the lead.
That is a massive demo play coming from Turblo. Takes out one, just forces Salty to not think about the ball for a second, has that hesitation that allows the shot. The first shot could have been a lot better. That could have been done very, very soon. But Turblo taking out a second player on the Lancaster team was really what set up that goal. The last 10 seconds to tick down. Loughborough might be back into this series by taking this all-important game 3. Nando pops it up, and Lancaster can't keep it up. Loughborough take game 3. It is 2-1 in the series. And Lancaster, once again, they have a fight on their hands as they have done this entire series. Let's be honest, all 3 games have been very close. It was just this one that felt that little bit closer, as Loughborough was starting to get a lot more dangerous on the offense.
Oh yeah, this was a game that really did require, nerves of steel and the ability to fight back. It was a must-win for Loughborough. If they didn't, they would have been in a position that you have to argue is almost impossible to fight back from. And as much as that was a great positive for them, they played so well. Stamina with 5 saves and 2 goals, easily the star player in that match, as well as a few save medals on the Lancaster side. This next match is just as important. Even though you would have put on quadruple match point, triple is still pretty bad. And if Lancaster can take this next one, put himself up 3-1 in the series, I don't think that Loughborough will be happy with that. They want to make this 2-2. They want to keep fighting back and give themselves as much as possible, just a small advantage, which they found there. They made sure they had that transition. They made sure that they weren't faltering on defense, and when it came to offense, although it took a few attempts, they changed it up, whether it was demos or it was going for rebounded shots and follow-ups. They know what's working for them now. They've got that in their head, and they're going to be able to replicate that as best as possible, making sure that they stay relevant in this series and they stay fighting for their lives.
Now comes the one key thing that could counter it: adaptability. Can Lincoln start to counter anything that Loughborough do simply by changing the way they're doing things? Start off, Nando on the back line, takes it past 1, almost takes it past Jay, but that is a very good, just short dribble. It wastes boosts, it wastes time, it causes the defense to be off kilter, and here comes Turblo, starting off the scoring for, I believe, the second game.
Is how you want to do it. Below the bar, Salty Sea Dog reads the ball, can get there, but can't get there with enough time, and instead just hits it a bit further, making it look even cooler on the replay. And, well, you've got to just screw your heads back on, even though you've just scored or just conceded, no matter what team you are. You have to make sure that, you don't get in your own heads about it, whether it's celebrating or worrying about being down this early on in the game. You've got the entire 4.5 minutes, if not a bit more, left to play, and as long as you are keeping composed, you'll have more than enough chances to put home at least a few more. With the way they seem to be playing, oh no, that was nearly going to be Loughborough messing themselves up instead. They'll try and maintain possession. It's in their own corner, so it's going to be a tough ask to work it out, and it's really difficult, again, to see either team getting that forceful clearance that leads to anything other than... Oh, actually, I say that. I was going to say that they've just been booming it away, looking to just get it out of harm's way, but instead, that's going to be connecting. That's going to be Benji, and that's going to be a tied game in such a phenomenal way. A beautiful shot and a great way to put them back in this game.
Nando stuck in midfield without a chance to block that. And within a minute, both teams have scored. Stamina on the back lines for Loughborough, trying to take this out as Salty will get in the way. This is the same old Lancaster coming through as they try to just take players off the pitch and take it forward almost freely. There was no one really from Loughborough trying to challenge the authority of Salty Sea Dog. Stamina going forward, but again, Salty Sea Dog coming through with a block. Nando dropping it down. Here comes Benji. The shot's on target. Turblo's in a bit of an awkward situation. Still makes the save and clearance. Only as far as Jay, though. Stamina off the ceiling, making the challenge go for the demo. Gets it. Here's Loughborough coming forward. Turblo in towards the center. No one's there. Jay finds the clearance. Pressure is gone.
And that was a mistake, I think, from Stamina, only just missing it. But we're going to see Nando recover. Stamina was actually going to be a bit too close to that. Maybe the double commit, although he didn't dive, it still leads to some odd positioning. And there's an opportunity here. Maybe Lancaster, just that positional awareness they have, cleared downfield. And Nando knows what the team needs, and that's to alleviate some sort of pressure again, making sure that on any front, this ball is kept out of this orange half, because it's been where it seems to be for the majority of this series, and Stamina as well. Same idea here. They're working well, and they're working with a substitute as well. We mentioned it, half an hour ago, that Turblo is coming in, not on the official main roster, but still playing out of his mind, getting multiple goals in this game. He's got saves, he's got assists, he's got a bit of everything. He's been such a key factor. The way that they have, like you said at the start of this game, been able to adapt both teams. While Turbo's adapted, and so have Loughborough. They've done it in style, but they need to just put that bit extra pressure on the opponents if they want to be able to close out this game and hopefully this series.
Getting a little bit creative in the midfield there. They're using the ceiling to sort of change the angle and completely confuse Lancaster. As in comes Stamina, going for a demo. Just gets Benji to jump, maybe a little bit early, but does give Nando a little bit of time to progress forward. 2 minutes left on the clock. Salty pushing it upfield with 0 boost. Nando, big booming clear, no one to pass to, so he'll pass to himself. Jay on the back line. Clear the lines for Lancaster. Shot towards net. Stamina pushing it out towards the corner. Everything's sort of calmed down, but this Loughborough side is still being put under the cosh. Nando, forward, Stamina, goal! It's just that simple for the Loughborough team.
They've found their groove indeed, and well, Stamina, absolutely incredible. Such an important factor in their game in last week, the bracket, or at least the start of their bracket run. And again, coming to life here, has a fair few goals, actually, 4 in this series, this being the 4th game as well. Got 5 saves and plenty of shots to go with it, I believe, actually. He's got a 100% shot conversion rate, which is a ridiculous stat, or at least it's near enough that. And, well, if you're playing like that, you're going to want to be on his team at the very least. Lancaster there in a tough position to fight him. Oh, it doesn't matter. There's a few mistakes on the goal line, and as much as we're seeing Stamina really come out of his shell, Lancaster going to put him right back in there, and they've tied this game up once more.
Great play from Benji. Just getting it past a few members of the Loughborough team. Getting it past Stamina was the key one. Bounces off the post and Jay will clear things up. Both teams are slowly adapting to this series, slowly just getting themselves set up, and I think it's just the most goals we've had so far, getting up to 4. I'm sure both teams are getting nosebleeds right now.
I should know this, but yes.
I think both teams are getting nosebleeds right now with the dizzying hypes of 4 goals to their name. As Benji bringing it outfield, Nando gets a challenge. This is a great challenge off the backboard, dropping it to the center. Salty gets there. That's a big double commit. Here's Lancaster coming through, but Salty can't put it into the middle that quickly. Stamina will have to get in the way. Turbo, back lines, push it out towards the side. Nando will bring this forward, out into the center for Turbo. Back to Nando. Short passing play for Loughborough comes to an end as Salty finds the clearance. Here's Benji. Second touch goes towards Lancaster. The net is open, but Turbo says no. The last few seconds to tick down. We could be looking at our first overtime of the series if it's held here, but Stamina will not want that. Jay pushes it away. He'll have to possibly deal with the overtime. It's still kept up in the air. Stamina in towards the center. Nando can't find the touch. Turbo doesn't have the shot. First overtime of the series, first overtime of the night. And this is such a vital one. 1 goal is all that Loughborough need to tie up this series. Lancaster will really want this one to try and take it a bit further away from the Loughborough team.
And there was a chance at 0 seconds, but that chance went begging. So unfortunate, of course, for Loughborough. They want to be tying this series up instead of just letting it get away from them. They're in a bit of a sticky situation in their own half, but no doubt this midfield line as well going to cause a bit of an issue. Nando wants to force it through, and Nando, well, being solid throughout, supporting his teammate, not the star player, but knows how to play in that supportive role. And well, there's a chance again. It can't quite be put through. Loughborough, they're not as clinical as they want. They've got a few goals, but they've got plenty of shots that have been saved away easily enough. And Salty Sea Dog wants to start this counter-attack here.
Jay bringing it forward. Demo doesn't come through, but that's a big demo by Stamina. Salty Sea Dog's last one back. Turbo shot. That is clinical from Turbo. Takes the overtime, equalizes in the series, and we are tied up 2-2. 2 games required for both teams to take the victory. And Loughborough have got themselves back to the series.
Indeed, they have. From 0-2 down to 2-2. It's not like this is over. It's not like it's going to be an easy road back by any means, but it's something that looks a bit more manageable. You have to believe it's something that, you know, they have faith. They've now got 2. They have momentum actually on their side, and it's hard to fathom, you know, given how much they seem to be shut down, and they had chances, they had ideas, but none of them really converted. Instead, now we're going to see them more than willing to put their best foot forward and to clutch up when it really needs to happen. And they have played phenomenally here. People leaving. What's up? Anything wrong there? Probably a car change from
decal change.
So yeah, maybe Lancaster, they need that mental reset of some sort if they want to be staying in this game too.
And Loughborough, it has to be said, Turblo has come to this entire series swinging. Sort of brought in as a substitute, knows that they need to step up, knows that they need to make sure that Stamina and Nando are not left behind. But at the moment, Nando in this series had some good moments, but Nando still looks a bit lost in playing against this Lancaster team. They've been able to bring it forward a few times, and of course getting an assist in this game. But something still feels off about Nando. Maybe this Lancaster team are really countering how Nando wants to play. But if Nando gets into this game, all three of Loughborough are firing on all cylinders. That could be curtains for Lancaster. But that's still yet to happen, in my opinion.
Nando isn't, going to be that star player, and like you say, not quite found the footing. Maybe it's the introduction of Turblo, not necessarily meaning that makes Nando play bad or they've got, some bad blood, but just the change in play style and wanting to adapt, wanting to, you'd rather hang back and not do anything too hasty rather than overcommit, do something really bad in the heat of the moment and then lose games, lose goals, because that was more looked promising from Jay. That's more seeing what it was like at the start of this encounter, and now, again, we're going to see these two teams match up. It's game 5, it's 2-2. The winner of this puts himself on series point, and that was Benji trying to force something through. It won't be put through, but there's still chances, and both teams, they know what's worked for them, they know what's worked for the other team. It's about adaptability, it's about making sure that your game plan is the one that goes through, and your goals are the ones that are converted here.
Turblo, here comes flip reset towards the backboard. That's an almost phenomenal setup for a possible Loughborough goal as Jay gets in the way, clears it out. Stamina again getting in the way. This is the Loughborough team. They have found their footing. They have found their flow. Turblo gets in the way, drops into the center. Nando leaves it for Stam as the shot goes on target. Almost gets a 50-50 to fall through. As Jay will get in the way. Turblo off the sidewall, can't get there. This is almost Benji. The goal was open. Benji can't find the net. As we've almost reset here. Off the sidewall, here comes Stamina. Looking for the flip reset, goes for the edge roll instead. Salty Sea Dog pushes it away. This Loughborough side, they're looking so much better. It's taken them a while, but they are now going for it. But so are Lancaster. They've been here the entire time, firing things on net. Big double commit from them, though. That will cost them boost in this very, very strict boost economy that we have going, but it might just work for them. Stamina has to clear the lines. 3 minutes to go. And Salty Sea Dog puts the ball on net. We are still tied up at 0-0.
It's Jay again. There's a few demos. He's been on it all series. I think he's up to double digits now, at the very least with those two, with how aggressive he's been. And it's not just for the sake of it. It's not to get in his opponent's head. I mean, that may be a factor, but more than anything, it seems to be to create space, and there has been space. There's been goals. There's been so many opportunities created with bumps and demos from both teams. Jay, I think, leading the way, but everyone else in the series showing the people watching at home and the other players on the field how it's done, and whether or not opportunities are converted, that's a different matter. But they're created with demos. They're created with the elimination of opponents, and Nando as well wants to force something through, maybe create an opportunity for himself or a teammate, but that's not going to happen. Salty Sea Dog, again, forcing it around, but Turblo with a phenomenal clear. This is going to be an absolute beast of a touch. And the demo as well, that's how you do it. Turblo gets the clear and can't get the goal for himself, but instead clears out the opponent, makes sure that it's an easy enough goal. And well, if Stamina missed that, there would have been some questions in the locker room afterwards. But that's easy enough. That's going to be a goal, and there's plenty of time left in this game, but it's going to be a lead nonetheless for Loughborough.
The taste of their own medicine, Lancaster, are now sort of tasting it as its kickoff goal. The fight is going Loughborough's way after that big demo coming in from Turblo, and he'll back it up with the second goal of the game. 2:10 to go. The hill gets a little bit steeper for the Lancaster team, but it's still not steep enough to be unsurmountable. Benji going towards net, drops it down low. That's a phenomenal play, actually, coming from Benji. It looks very basic in terms of the play, but the shot choice was made just there. You could see the slight air roll direct it just away from any Loughborough players.
And it's goals galore in Game 5, although it's not quite at the staggering, 5 we had in the last game with, 5. I mean, for this series, that's a big number. We could still be rivaling that, given that we've had, 3 in about 20 seconds or so. Stamina wants to make it a 4th. That won't happen. Salty Sea Dog, again, has been, I believe, has the most saves for his team this series. Has been on it defensively, and Turblo, well, not immediately going to get something instead. Stamina as well, biding his time. The chip over won't be there, but awareness of the other team and potentially being aware that they're diving in, they're wanting to make sure that nothing gets past them, at least on the first run through. Means there's opportunities on the second. Stamina as well, up again, wants to fight through. Turblo has to recover, and Nando, well, these teams are connecting, and it's going to be Loughborough. They're going to force it through. Nando, if he got that, that would have been an amazing team play. But no, Stamina keeps it in and keeps the pressure on for Loughborough.
I think Nando heard me during the game break. He's absolutely turned it on for this game, setting up quite a few opportunities for the Loughborough side to work on. Jay towards the backboard, that'll be cleared out straight towards Benji, but the shot is just going high and wide. Still Jay in the way of the team. Here's the breakaway opportunity. Stam going for the demo. Won't find it, but Turblo will. Just straight after the shot. Again, Loughborough getting in the way of the Lancaster team and defense as Turblo coming through, forces a big clearance. Here's Nando with straight past the ball, Stammer off the sidewall towards Benji. We are now stuck once again at this midfield line. I'm sure Loughborough will want to break out and try and steal the deal on this game with another goal to their lead. Lancaster will be looking for one final goal in the last 20 seconds, last 15 seconds now, to get this game back to a deadlock. Benji, air dribble through. Jay can't get there in time with the demo. So Sea Dog trying to set it up. Loughborough, they might get away with this one. They might get to match point with this one. As Turblo drops it down. Loughborough, after being 2-0 down to start off this series, they make it 3-2 in their favour.
They put themselves in a position that I think you could call more than favourable. Let's be real. And actually, I want to bring up a stat here. Obviously, you mentioned Nando, not the best game offensively. Has no goals, but 4 assists in this series. So there's been 9 goals scored for the team. He's assisted 4 of them. That's pretty good. And given, the role you expect from him, more than anything, I think you can still commend the way he's playing. He had opportunities in that game that he also managed to put through, or at least give opportunities in turn to his teammates. So more than anything, it just seems that it's all coming together for Loughborough. They know what they want to do, and they're making sure that not only is that idea there, but the execution and the ability to perform is more than showing.
And I think for the moment, Lancaster, they've not quite adapted to this Loughborough way of thinking in terms of how Loughborough's come together. Lancaster, they haven't quite adapted. I see a lot of the attacks they put on. They're fairly one-dimensional in the way they've done things. They go for a demo, they get rid of one of the defenders, they find the net, they hold the midfield line, rinse and repeat until they find the goal. This Loughborough team, they found the better way to get out of the defense. Take out one of the attackers, you're able to run away with it to the other end of the pitch, and then you can work with it. This Loughborough team found a way of functioning against this Lancaster side, and now the question is, can Lancaster answer the questions that Loughborough are now pitching to them?
Well,
match point.
If it was the best of 5, it would have been over, but no. That final chance, just like this lower bracket is offered, well, this game 6 has been offered to Lancaster. They've been given one more opportunity, and they have to make sure they use it and then convert the game after that as well. They did a game 7 to win, but Loughborough, they can close it out. They can advance and be 1 series away from LAN. If only they can win this. They found the winning strategy, or at least one that's bagged them enough wins to put them in a favourable position. It's just about making sure that once more their game plan and their tactics, they pay off. That might pay off. This is looking promising. It's gonna be...
Oh no.
No, Stamina. I think he's done his own team over there. There was a chance, and again, dodging, weaving is Salty Sea Dog for the teammate, and Jay would have been a detrimental. That would have really been a heartbreaking, I feel, counter-attack if Lancaster put that through. But no, Loughborough, they stay strong and they stay still in the driver's seat for this series.
4 minutes remain. Opening goal yet to be scored as Benji has to clear it off the line. Nando almost getting their first goal of the series. Benji out to the midfield, and Stamina will take the catch. Trying to get past Jay here. Quick change of pace. Keeps it fluid, keeps it moving. Away from the Lancaster team. Jay blocked out by Nando. Jay still has just enough possession, brings it out to the midfield line, but again, one of the new attackers taken out of this counter-attack by the Loughborough team. Nando can't get to the 50, but it drops for Turblo. Could drop for Stamina, not quite. Still for Nando, no. Benji clearing again, this Lancaster team pushing upfield. Again, Nando taking out one of the counter-attackers. This seems to be a little plan that Loughborough is choosing to do. A little bit devious, taking out one of the opposing members of the team just as soon as possession changes. Stamina can't find the redirect towards the back line, and things are just sort of calming down here as neither team...
Oh, you say that.
Neither team getting big clinical opportunities, as there's always seemingly one person back just doing enough.
This is a pretty violent chess match, if anything, this particular game.
This is chess boxing. Yeah, this is chess boxing.
Yeah, chess. Well, you've got the chess is, the Rocket League, and then the boxing is just the not even mindless demos. They're strategical. No one able to really find that one window of opportunity. We've only seen a few shots in this game total, and we're more than halfway through it. It's more about biding your time, waiting until your opponent moves one piece wrong, or the positioning of a car is just off where it should be, and you can strike, you can get the ball boost and space, the three key factors, of course, of having any solid opportunity. And well, there's maybe the opportunity here. Stamina wants to force it central, but no, not quite. There's still time. Everyone wants to bide their time, wants to make sure that they don't overcommit, they don't do anything too ridiculous. We have seen a fair few double commits, and although they haven't all been capitalized on, you don't want the one that is capitalized on to be the one that ends your run in this tournament, that potentially loses you a game or a series or an overtime or anything. So nerves will start to get to players at about this point in the clock. Not a massive factor just yet, as no goals have been scored, but maybe, just maybe, if there is one soon enough, then you'll really start to get nervy, especially if it's scored by Loughborough Lancaster. They know they cannot afford to make too many mistakes.
Lancaster Benji has to push it out towards the side, Turblo in towards the centre. Big counter possibly coming through for Lancaster. Benji can't get onto the end of it. Does bring it out into the side, in towards the centre. So Sea-Dog facing the completely the wrong way. So can't find that big attack. But this is a good solid attack from Lancaster that's come about because Loughborough didn't have the chance, didn't have the time to go upfield and demo one of them. The thing about Loughborough's attack is that the way it's structured is almost to stay back as Fernando comes through. That's a vital save to deny the Lancaster team. But as I was saying, Lancaster... can I say my point?
What?
Guys, can I say my point? Turblo comes through for the Nets. And it's 1-0 Loughborough.
I was going to say, I feel like I should just be recording my reactions after this, because I'm making so many faces. And I took a sip of water there. He put that through. I almost choked on it, trying to just react, because oh my goodness, what's happened there? Turblo, the super sub and a half. Well, the game isn't over, the series isn't over, but it's mightily close to being, and it's all because of that player there. Turblo gets the goal. I mean, again, Nando, such a support player, such a great demoer. Stamina has 3 saves. Well, there's still opportunities, of course. That's actually going to be a 4 save for Stamina. Lancaster, they've got so many shots. Turblo as well, getting involved with the goaltending action. They might drop down. There's still a chance, but no. 20 seconds, even less than. The clock looks to be 15, and this could spell disaster. Easy enough for Jay. What can happen in these final few?
Still popped up in the air. Here comes Jay as it's dropped down to the centre. Benji's blocked out. Soldier Sea-Dog will still have possession for this Lancaster team. Gets it over 1, but Stamina and Nando are back again out towards the midfield line. It's kept up by Benji, but no one's there for Lancaster. And it is game over. Loughborough, they take it in 4 after losing the first 2, and they will move on to the LAN playoff match next on stream.
Okay, just before we get into the whole analytics side of that, Lancaster were up 2-0. Did you expect Loughborough to have a chance at all?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
genuinely, I don't think I seem to give that, seem to hint that through my casting. But genuinely looking at Loughborough, there were still signs, there were still sort of brief moments where if they were able to escape and push up field, they were still putting dangerous shots on net. It was just, they didn't quite have the boost, or Lancaster were able to make sure it wasn't dangerous. And they also kept the chances down to a minimum. So even if they did get through, only in fact one of them might have scored. And in the first game, there was only one. But slowly but surely, they started working together. They started getting momentum, and everything sort of came together for Loughborough in the wonderful symphony of goal scoring in a few demos. Lancaster looked very good in the first two games. They kept on looking good, but like I said in between games, from that penultimate game to this one, it was a little bit two-dimensional. It was a little flat. And Loughborough kept it that way. They kept making sure that if Lancaster attacked in a different way, they struggled. But the way that Lancaster were attacking, the way it was structured in the last game, they couldn't attack like that at all. They were restricted because it almost works on two people at the midfield line, one person upfield. If they take one person out of that counter-attack, that means that one person has to stay back a little bit further to make sure any clearances are read. That's the entire deal of why I was sort of pointing it out and making a big deal of Loughborough getting rid of one of the counter-attackers, because it completely stopped Lancaster sort of setting up for their siege at the midfield line that they just couldn't get in the second half of that game.
Yeah, I think Lancaster, especially Jay, at least to start off with, were really keen on bumps and demos and physicality. And then Loughborough decided, you know what, we've got Nando, who seems to be doing everything off the ball. Go do that as well, because they decided, the duo of Stamina and Nando, as opposed to whoever two you'd have on the Lancaster side, were an easy enough matchup, and they could take whether it became, actually scoring creative opportunities or just on the defensive side of it. And they made it work. They found a strategy from the opponents. They pinched it, and they made it better for them in every way. It worked, and that was a well-deserved win, I must say.
So Loughborough are the team marching on, and they will be facing off, as the bracket has revealed, UEA Blue Jays, who beat Lincoln 4-1. So the LAN matchup comes down to UEA and Loughborough, but that is after this break. See you then.
I live 17 floors up, and when it rains, I can feel those drops in my window pane. Lets me know that I'm still here. But when the sun comes out, I will go outside. When it breaks through clouds, I will give a smile. Lets me know that I'm still here. Sometimes I want to run away, to find good times again, to find all my old friends. Times I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and good times. I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and up, and when I cry, I can see this city through my watered eyes. Lets me know that I'm still here. When my eyes clear up, I will go outside. I'll imagine you're still by my side. Lets me know that I'm still here. Sometimes I want to run away, to find good times again, to find all my old friends. Run away, to the nearest place where I'll find all my old friends. Times I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and good times. I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, find my friends again. And good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And
Transcend humanity with Omen.
What is that?
It's cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London, saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Welcome back to the prize playoffs for the Newell Winter 2022 Amazon University Esports Rocket League season, the very last playoff bracket game before we go to LAN. My name's RW Dragon, and of course, Orksy is back from after break. But last time out, Loughborough had a tough going to start off with against Lancaster, but now they are here against UEA.
Yeah, I mean, just to look back really at the series we just watched, the Lancaster versus Loughborough, it was tough, you know, it really did seem like Lancaster were going to run away with it. Loughborough, they put up a fight to start with, but couldn't quite crack through. Instead, they found a strategy which they basically just stole from the opponents and made it better because they were better when it came to playing. And, well, it worked for them. They forced their way through. Looking at, you know, how they were playing, it seemed like they should have been winning, but just, you know, unable to really string anything together in the first few games. Finally, getting that, forcing their way through to UEA, who are expected at least to make a run to LAN. They've made the first step in that, beating their opponents, beating their opponents in the previous series. Now they've got Loughborough, and that is more than a tough ask there.
Loughborough team have had a great series. They got themselves back into it. They found their footing as a trio. Of course, Turblo. Maybe Crookie has the internet back. Maybe not. If Turblo is going to continue, then we may have more of a showing from Turblo Pulsar. As after that super sub performance, you might as well change your name to that. But UEA team, this is going to be full strength UEA. But of course, famously, UEA moment. where they come across a team they should be beating, or in fact, vice versa, a team they shouldn't be beating, and they end up winning. This is an occasion where I think if a UEA moment happens, then Loughborough are going to land and they're going to be having a great time in Nottingham. Whereas UEA, they're going to be hoping not to have a UEA moment and be able to punch their ticket to Nottingham.
Yeah, it's a weird one to think about because UEA, they should be winning, right? They are, if you're power ranking, they're going to be a top 3 team. The 3 teams you're looking at to be the best are Roehampton, of course, UEA. They are great, not just in the UK, but also across Europe, across other collegiate and university competitions there, and then Warwick. Warwick have qualified, Roehampton have, and now it's down to these 2 teams. Loughborough, you look at them, they're a strong side, of course. I believe they ranked 4th or 5th when it came to Roehampton and Warwick, they're the first 2 seeds. UEA were 3rd, Loughborough was 4th. So it's not like this is a massive upset. This is most definitely a team that you expect them to have a difficult matchup against. But there's no clear winner, realistically. I think UEA, I'd put money on them purely because I know that they are better on paper, and when it comes to other competitions, recently, the European competitions, they've had great performances. But like you say, UEA moment, Loughborough, they seem out of their mind, and maybe we see Turblo again, superstar performance. He's been playing great. I don't know why you'd want to bring Crookie in now, just to maybe disrupt what they've already got going.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. If Crookie is back on the internet, if I'm Nando and Stamina, I think they're looking at him going, no, stay off the... No, stop. Yeah. You're not warming up. Turn off Rocket League.
Send an extra sub round to just bash his computer a bit,
Send the rest of the...
They got a 5-man roster. Use this guy for good, I reckon, yeah.
Just drag him away from the computer. Yeah. No, not at the moment.
Yeah, if we make it to LAN, we'll consider it. But until then, we'll see what we can do.
I don't know. Super subs do perform well at LAN. I mean,
true.
Series 3 grand finals. I'm just saying.
Would Crookie be the sub? I mean, Turbo wouldn't be a sub at that point because he's played the main roster up until that point. So, no, it's a debate. Maybe they've got a 7-player roster and they're going to bring one of those in every game. They just swap out or something. Who knows?
That having a 7-person roster has some kind of threatening aura to it that I'm not quite sure UEA are ready for.
When even got, ready. The matchup on the stage or whatever, something like that. It'd be great content, you have to imagine. So that's half the reason, I think. It's something at this level where there's definitely money on the line, but you're also doing this because you want to get more involved with collegiate Rocket League. You enjoy playing Rocket League at a competitive level. But there is definitely, that lighthearted aspect. All the players know each other, the teams know each other. They're, for the most part, pretty good friends. There's a few grudges which you love as well for content, but you want to enjoy it. You want to be friends with people, and might as well. So there's maybe a bit of not necessarily bad blood, but there might be after this series because winner of this goes to Nottingham, goes to that LAN at the Confetti X Arena. Loser gets to watch at home, really, which isn't what you want. There's definitely a better outcome of those two.
But our questions have been answered. Turblo Pulsar has just joined the server. Hasn't changed his name though, so unfortunately we're just normal Turblo. But as soon as these airwaves drift into the Loughborough dorms, there might be a name change on the cards. At the moment, we're just waiting for the UEA roster to join us. But what is this series going to be like? I mean, there we go. Just on cue, UEA have started joining. But what is this series going to look like? This Loughborough team, they've managed to adapt to having the sub play on the roster. They've looked good, but they've looked good in sort of working out someone's play style and countering it well. This UEA team have several different layers they can bring in. Ant-Man's an absolutely incredible ones player. Eclat Mackers, I believe, has been top 10 in ones a few times in the past season. Snipe is a wonderful threes player. There's separate layers and threats that UEA can bring in. There's a huge question mark over Loughborough whether they're going to be able to adapt to that and be able to challenge this UEA team. But those questions are about to be answered. We're about to start the ticket to LAN final, essentially.
This is there's money, there's tickets to LAN, there's bragging rights, which again, You look at the ages of these are university students. Bragging rights are massive, let alone the other things. They'll know these players. They'll be harping on about it on Twitter, in Discord, wherever it happens. And well, again, we've got Loughborough in the orange. We've got UEA in the blue. And we've got a game, a series even, that could go all the way to 7 just to decide who gets to go to the Confetti X Arena, who gets to go for their chance at winning this entire Newell competition here.
Well, Snipe.
Great way to start. We take those.
I talked about the prowess of Ant-Man and Eclatmakis in ones. Here comes Snipe deciding, I'm good at ones, watch this. Just smashes his face into the ball several times over until the Loughborough defense just has to give in and allow Snipe to score the opening goal of the series. Just under 30 seconds gone. There might be a counter here as Ant-Man has to catch on the line. Here comes Turblo. It's taken round him as Ant-Man bringing it outfield. Has to be said, if Loughborough do find their way into the finals, I'm sure that Crookie will owe his super sub at least a pint at the student bar. Nando clearing the lines. Comes Turblo, looking for the flip reset. Goes under one. Ant-Man and Eclatmakers were on the back lines, ready to clear the lines of the UEA roster. Getting towards a minute. Eclatmakers shot, goal. UEA, they are finding it simple at the moment.
That is phenomenal, genuinely, to see. Eclatmakers, the ball drops down and it's not an easy angle. I mean, if that wasn't put on target at the very least, maybe you give him a dirty look. But no, that was great. Just being able to find the gap. It wasn't, difficult. There was definitely space, but making sure that you put that through, giving your team that 2-0 lead so early on as well in this game. Only a minute gone, so there's plenty of time to work back on coming back in this game if you are Loughborough. But on the flip side, UEA, they can add to this lead. They can add some insult to injury if they so choose and if they can keep up this pressure.
Nando takes it past one, but Eclatmakers will get in the way. Turblo going for the halfway line. Eclatmakers again making the stop. Ant-Man shot on target. Absolutely vicious strike towards net. Has to be blocked out by Loughborough. Big clearance by Turblo into the UEA half. Snipe getting the catch. Bounce off the wall. Nando keeps it going. Turblo's next to take a shot. Takes it off target. And that might be the killer for the pressure on the Loughborough side of things. Shot into the center. Ant-Man missing out. That could have easily been a third for UEA. Ant-Man found their way onto the end of that pass. Eclatmakers towards back lines. Taking it off the back wall. Upfield. Pass 2. Turblo having to clear things up. But no one beaten by that flick. And ticking down towards the halfway point. There's almost been no answer from Loughborough against this UEA dominance in this game.
And well, there was a chance, potentially 1 or 2 shots there for Loughborough just a short time ago. They couldn't put that through. They couldn't really get much more on target either. The pressure wasn't sustained for too long, and instead UEA want to show them how it's done. Eclatmakers going to take it all the way. Has prowess with 1v1, but 1v2 or 1v3 as well seems to be something that he can more than manage. It's not going to be converted at the very end, but there's enough pressure and there's enough just ability in showing there that you're going to be very wary of him. And then, actually Nando, okay, turning it around, wants to just give Loughborough some sort of chance, get them on the board at the very least. But no, Snipe gets the beat and charge down, and there is option central as well. Nando maybe trying to go for a goal this series. Don't believe he got a single one in the previous, so there's definitely something to be desired there.
Loughborough, they are starting to put some pressure on this UEA side. They're keeping it inside this blue half of the pitch rather nicely at the moment as Demo comes through, takes one out. That will break down the pressure, so good demo play coming in from Snipe and a good shot play coming through from Snipe. As UEA, it only took one demo to break down the Loughborough attack, and it only takes one shot from Snipe to ensure it goes in and sends UEA 3-0 up. 1:32 to go. Loughborough have a steep hill to climb to get back in this game 1.
3 shots for Loughborough and there's 10 for UEA. The pressure, you can definitely tell which side of the pitch it's been on now. Loughborough, they faced this sort of stuff before, being on the receiving end of more shots and more goals against them, more pressure in general. They've had to work out from that half in sticky situations before. It's just, this is most definitely, I think it's impossible to argue otherwise, a tougher opponent than their previous series. Nothing against Lancaster, but they're not quite as good as UEA. They weren't expected to make land. UEA, well, there's still questions to be asked, and that question is, will Stamina maintain this sort of ability? A nice assist as well from Turbo, just gets it up. Nothing too fancy, but the read and the ability to just tuck that one in below the bar, and this game is far from over. There's a minute left, 2 goals. It's not impossible, but against a side like UEA, it's still very difficult.
It's good from Loughborough. They're just taking it back to basics on the attack. Making sure each player is on the same page by just doing the most basic thing that they can to get the ball in the back of the net. But again, UEA getting vicious on the offense. Nando taking control, just about flicks it past Ant-Man, looking out for Stamina. Big demo coming in through from Ant-Man. Snipe, shot, can't find the top corner, can't find the second touch either. What about Macca's? Saved by players coming through for Loughborough. Last 24 seconds to go. I'm not sure how many questions we can put forward to say that Loughborough might be able to take this game still. I think UEA have just been a little bit too good, and they will hold on to this 2-goal lead, maybe expand on it with the last 10 seconds to tick down in towards the center. Snipe blocked out by Turbo, but I think this will be all that UEA need to get game 1.
Oh, fortunate as well. I mean, you take a goal when you can. Unfortunately, that's not put through. UEA, what they have done is give themselves a 1-0 lead, just like the previous series and the rest of this bracket. It is best of 7, so you can ease into it, but instead for UEA, they don't want to ease into it. They want to strike while the iron is hot, get ahead as early as possible, and that is exactly what they've done there. Put themselves in a more than favourable position. I'm sure they'll be very happy with what they've managed to achieve there.
And Orksy, have you taken a look at the bracket?
I have seen what was mentioned. Yes, I'm vaguely aware. Exactly. That yes. Is my reaction as well. Do you know run the viewers through what's happened behind the scenes?
So we've just taken a look at the bracket, right? The upper bracket finals happened, of course. We're going to have the lower bracket finals and the grand finals on LAN. And something completely unexpected has happened. Roehampton has lost in Game 7 to Warwick Williams Resolve, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. The last few lower brackets that I've had experience on, the lower bracket team makes a magnificent run, gets to the grand final, and actually takes it. The lower bracket is actually such a buff for teams, so I'm actually terrified that Roehampton has this. But UEA, if they manage to finish off this series, some of the closest games this season across every single university esports tournament that we've had for Rocket League, UEA has given Roehampton the closest series. So if you are going to LAN, get your tickets now, because if UEA get through Loughborough, then you are in for one heck of a lower bracket final. If Loughborough make it through, then what a load of a momentum they could be taking into that LAN series. What a high they could be having of going into yet another LAN. But that question is still going to be unanswered for a little bit while. Roehampton await for the winner of this series, as UEA will look to go on the attack and try and take this game 2 early with 1 goal. Ant-Man around towards the side. Nando will get the challenge, clearing out towards the side. Look like Macca's in towards the center. Can't find the redirect. Here, but how about Snipe onto the walls of the backboard? Gets a second touch, almost finding the net. Turbo getting in the way. Almost with a minute gone, the UEA once again putting the pressure on this Loughborough team.
There is pressure indeed. No goal too early on. It's not quite been a minute, but there's still time to pass, and nothing too dangerous from either side. Stamina maybe wanting to set something up, and that's going to be more dangerous. That's going to be a converted shot from Turbo, the super sub himself. I'm sure that name, if Loughborough can manage to scrape their way through to LAN, will continue, and even so, getting to this point, getting to that goal as well. That is amazing from him. And well done, Stamina as well, sets it up, but Turbo finds the spacing near post just like that. You do not get many nicer shots from that position.
Here comes Loughborough. They're just starting to look for the demos once again. I think it's a surprising number of times how many times you can beat a team just by taking out one of the players. Just outnumber them. Turbo comes through. Second shot. What a passing play coming through. This Loughborough team have heard what I've been saying about what a lower bracket final it would be with UEA versus Roehampton. And they're saying, nah, this is our time. This is Loughborough time. The Dynasty are back with new names.
Look, there's so many questions about that lower bracket final, even going into the grand final. And they know that. They know they've got questions themselves of, could we win that? You know, do we have what it takes to win that lower final? And, well, they've got to make it there first. I'm sure there's plenty of time for speculation after this series. The Macas, that's the 1v1 ability, but it's not quite converted.
Oh, Turblo!
And then takes the shot. Turblo gets back, only gets one shot for save credit, but it should have been two. Oh my goodness, stamina as well. Nando, shots galore, opportunities galore, but saves two, as nothing's put through on that. And Loughborough, well, they are only kept to 2 here.
Super sub buff is way too strong right now. Ant-Man blocking it out. Something's just happened to this Loughborough team. They are hungry. They want this. They have been fighting in this lower bracket for so long. They just want to get through. Stamina in towards the center. Here's Turblo again, blocked out by Ant-Man. Turblo absolutely on one right now, going after this UEA side. Pops up, Macas towards the sidewall. Again, Turblo is there to get in the way. Nando pushing upfield. Shot again by Ant-Man, just saved on the line! Loughborough surviving the shots being sent at them by UEA. Stamina gets around 1, gets around a second, has 18 boost. Can they find a passing towards the center, off the sidewall, off the backboard? Ant-Man gets in the way. UEA, they've been absolutely sucker punched by 2 goals. They're not sure what's happening. Snipe upfield. We'll have to bring that forward. But no bump coming in from Macas. I believe that was what it was going for. With 2 minutes to go, Loughborough have a 2-goal lead still.
I really don't know how. They've got 1 less shot than UEA, but they've got 2 more goals. The pressure seems to be there for them. The opportunities, well, they've created them and then put them through. Nando wants to maybe just add another one to his tally. Actually, we'll get on the scoreboard for the 30. Still get to do that. It's insane as well. They've managed to be this successful looking to get another goal here. Maybe Turblo, not quite stamina, bottom corner. That's how you do it. The 1-2. These players, they know what they're doing. They know what they need to do, and they're making sure the execution is there. Oh my goodness, Turblo, 100% goal participation for his team in this series, and that is amazing.
Turblo Pulsar mode absolutely activated with that assist and drop down to stamina. This is absolutely insanity of a game. I was not expecting this at all. I was thinking after that first game, UEA can run away with this, but no, this has been such a tricky one for them to get back into as Snipe does find the goal. 1:22 to go. There's still time for UEA to make a comeback, but with Turblo Pulsar going in, there's still quite a few goals on the table.
Of course, I mean Turblo, he's in the dominance as well. That's a pretty well-known Turbo Pulsar car. And well, you'll see Snipe and Mac as they're going to combine. They've been 2 to get all the goals and assists for their team as well in this series, and they'll make it 1 more. They've given themselves a chance, but 3-1 was the scoreline for the other team in this in the previous game. Maybe, just maybe Loughborough, they can hold out, and with a minute left, it's not an impossible task. Oh, Nando wants the demo as well. Hunting knows what his assignment is, but instead of Macas, again, the idea is there. The idea is shut down at any offense. Nando wants to create a nice little counter-attack here. Is there an opportunity? There is. It's just about finding that gap, finding that teammate. Turblo again off to the side, wants to work some magic here.
Kept towards the side, Mac is pitched in towards the middle by Nando. Kept away, Snipe into middle. Turblo gets the clearance. Ant-Man will take it away from the back lines, but Turblo coming in and taking the boost. This is a great move for Loughborough to come through. Here comes Turblo, blocked out. It's dropped in towards the center. Stamina's just sort of seeing if he can wait for Macas to push it in towards him. That won't happen. Ant-Man towards the backboard. Stamina's actually caught out here. Here comes Snipe, the shot on net.
There's a chance, and it's the tiniest one. There's a sliver. But we've seen, look, kickoff goals exist, and with a team like UEA, they've got something up their sleeve. Loughborough know that. I mean, we know that. Of course, Loughborough can know this. They know this team. I'm sure they've scrimmed, they've done something against them, and these 13 seconds could prove crucial to not only this game, but the series. Oh my goodness, maybe there's only just Snipe has to fight back. Turblo wants the shot. Turblo wants some sort of pressure. That won't happen, and as the clock just ekes its way towards 0, this game may just be over. It will be. And Loughborough, they fought back. They managed to get a win here.
I cannot explain the hype of seeing a substitute completely step up to the plate and take on a team that has been rampant this season. UEA have been fantastic, but Turblo in just this one series has been somehow even better. This is ridiculous from Loughborough. I was expecting a fight, but I was expecting it to be sort of a close sweep where UEA just sort of gets the edge over on every game, with Loughborough getting very, very close every single time. But no, this game, that Turblo, magnificent game. Stamina has been in it, being an absolute nuisance, and Nando has been playing the sort of perfect backup game. They've been helping out, an assist, of course, getting a shot on, but Turblo was just been far and away the best player. In terms of UEA, it was a bit of a sucker punch at the start. I mean, they have scored 2 goals and kept it close. They just weren't close enough during the starting point of the game where they were hit hard by this Loughborough team just stepping up to them.
Yeah, and again, going back to Turblo, you say the best player. I love myself a good stat, a good spreadsheet, a good graph. Okay, Turblo got a goal a game and an assist a game, 5 saves and 8 shots across only 2. That is incredible and something you really don't see very often, if ever, especially against a team as formidable and arguably as the underdog, which we're seeing Loughborough now. Well, they fought back. It's 1-1. This next game, any game, to be fair, any goal even, could prove vital for both these teams' chances. They want that LAN. UEA, of course, they want that chance against Roehampton. They want to prove that they're a team that can tame down one of the top dogs, if not the top dog in the UK and Loughborough. They want to prove the critics. They want to prove the doubters wrong. They want to prove that they can make it to LAN. They can make the grand final and maybe even get that gold medal. Well, they've scored first in this game. That's going to be a great start for them.
Just Loughborough leaving the net open. Not quite a good enough clearance from the super sub to keep it clear from the Loughborough side of things. So UEA, just sometimes with these ones players, Ant-Man and Eclat Mackers, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Stamina also proving that point. Just this moment of it, giving them a chance to take an edge roll forward, they will push up into your own half, put you under pressure. Ant-Man, shot just off target. Eclat Mackers coming in, great read. And the early goings are going UEA's direction.
And again, that 2-goal lead, it may just prove to be enough. And actually, that's a pretty nice read off the crossbar. That is hard to work out, but great. You can get it. Looks stylish and looked even better on the scorecard. Seeing, of course, that goal, that 2-0 lead. Well, something they can work towards. It's something that Loughborough, despite how good they've been, maybe actually just, oh my goodness, what a save and stamina. Can't put it in. I was going to say that it's so difficult for them to fight back from 2-0 down at any point, and then they go and do that, and then they miss, and then they put it through anyway. Somehow, a roller coaster of emotion for me. I don't know about you, but, well, they've kept their nerve of Loughborough, and they've managed to bring this back to a 1-goal deficit, 3 goals in the first minute.
Yeah, I don't think you were quite watching my face during that entire exchange. It's just a pinball, just 2 versions of pinball.
I know exactly
everywhere in front of them.
yeah.
Exactly. And somehow Stamina's right in the exact spot where the drop down happens, and that's all happened within a minute. This has been absolute chaos. This has truly been a UEA game and UEA series. You've got Mackers taking it high, looking for the flip reset, will be blocked out by Turblo. I feel like Turblo has absolutely no fear in this series. They recognise the position, the tricky position they've been put under. You have to join this team for one series, and then you have to hop in and try and beat one of the best teams in the UK at the moment. And he's just sort of taking it full in stride, just going after every single ball, saying, right, my job is going to be an absolute nuisance, but Stamina's just letting it flow, just letting it go for a moment, and Ant-Man and UEA will just step forward and take that shot. Eclat Mackers, that really could have been just a simple shot for them.
And that... ignore the first shot, let's be real. That was a matter of patience there. You saw, it seemed more than anything that, yeah, those 2 players involved were able to pause in the... Goodness, never mind. I'm trying to make some sort of analysis here, and I'm not entirely sure what's gone wrong, but they can't quite put it through. There was a chance. It's not good enough. They're still looking for something. They're still down by 2. They still need something soon if they want to be relevant in this game, and instead Ant-Man and the Mackers, they're going to connect. They're going to be able to put this through and well. It's 4
This
goals.
is a phenomenal. This is a phenomenal recovery from Atlan. Gets bumped there, just pots it high enough to just tricks the players. Turbolo trying to clear it off at the near post. That wasn't going their way. And UEA, they have run away with this game. This is more taking the shape of what I half expected things could go. This is truly a UEA moment.
Truly. Okay, well.
UEA moment once again.
Quite. Turbolo, though, stepping up, averaging that goal per game. And we take those, of course. I'm sure they get those 4 goals. It's not insurmountable, but it is still a pretty tough ask. They've got halfway there, and they've still got 3 minutes left. Oh my goodness, 6 goals in 2 minutes. That is insane.
Snipe pushing in towards center. Eclatmac is Sable blocked out. Turbolo once again getting in the way, pushing it upfield, following it through again. Just not quite the right touches to bring it around the outside of the net. Like I've said, the confidence on Turbolo has done wonders, I would say, for this Loughborough team. He's put in a number of challenges that I don't think either Stamina or Nando would have done that have saved them a few times over. He has got himself into tricky situations like that. But in all honesty, the way he's played has given them a chance in this series. And yeah, that's a very tricky situation. That's a little bit of inexperience at this level coming in, getting the positioning a little bit wrong. But still, 3 goals in 2 minutes 20. The amount of goals we've had in this one in comparison to the last one has been ridiculous, but it's still very much possible as they come together. Turbolo can't quite find the net.
You have to assume that this game is not necessarily a write-off. There is, of course, a chance of coming back, but the clock is low enough that you assume Loughborough, maybe they're just looking towards the next game and not getting their heads down about this. You've still got strategy, you've still got, ideas you want to implement and things you might want to change about your game. You've got 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes here, plus the extra minute between games, as well as obviously covering what you're doing, try and fight back in this. Use this time wisely. Use it to talk about what you want to try next, what the opponents are doing, how they've managed to beat you in the air, mind games anyway, and then use that, to come back fighting, have just even more time. You don't get tactical timeouts in the same way for this unless someone, again, has an internet problem, has a connection issue. So instead, just play that slower game. Make sure that you know what you're doing. Don't necessarily give up too quickly, but make sure that you are ready because UEA, they're a strong side. They've come back fighting in this. They got not really rolled, but they were definitely the second best team in the previous game. They want to make sure that stops happening. And again, Loughborough, if they get around 3-1 in the next game, that's going to be tough for them to fight back from. And we know what they can. We know what they can do. We've seen what they can do. It's just about replicating those results once more.
Still a minute to go. UEA, there's still a moment in them within these 50 seconds. Maybe perhaps 3 moments they could have. Loughborough have not given up on this game. I was sort of listening to what you were saying. I was just shaking my head. They would have not spent the last 2 minutes just sort of thinking this game is gone. They would have been thinking, all right, let's keep going. Let's keep pushing. Let's see what we can do from here. And as time has ticked down, it has gone away with them a little bit, but this never say die Loughborough attitude has kept on going. They've given themselves opportunities. They just haven't converted to get it back just that little bit closer. The last 10 seconds are just about to tick down. And it will be UEA taking their second game of this series, bring it 2-1. Respect the rule. Oh, that is disgusting from Eclatmackers.
Yeah, I honestly can't believe it. It's just write the game off there. Yeah, see, I get what you mean about the whole never giving up until the game's over, but you have to you have to be sensible to an extent, and maybe just trying to get a bit too tunnel visioned on the game in front of you can lead to scenarios in which you're not quite prepared. But Loughborough, they've managed to strike back, and so have UEA. It's been a roller coaster so far, and no doubt we'll see a very similar game, or this sort of pattern of games as this series continues. It's only 2-1, so neither team is really in a bad position. Instead, I just think we're going to see a game in a series that could go down to the wire. I'm hoping for a minimum of 6, but I'll take at least 5 is what we will get. But these teams, they do seem to be neck and neck even, despite the actual scoreline in this one. UEA Snipe has been phenomenal. I believe he's got 6 goals in 3 games, so even better than the Turbolo's 3 in 3-3, and well, looking at all aspects of it, UE, you expect to be better. They've managed to be better in some metrics, but if Loughborough can win one, I don't see why they can't win a few more here.
They're always putting pressure on. They've always pressurized this UEA side. I think they just let pressure go a little bit too easily against UEA. So the counter comes through and suddenly they're on the back foot and the goal is getting scored on them. They will have the reset now. It was almost a similar position that we had in the first series of today. We have a chance of a very similar scoreline coming out. UEA win, they are on match point. If Loughborough win, we have a tied series at 2 games apiece. Eklapmak is looking a little bit uncomfortable clearing the lines with that. Nando towards net. Stamina again pushing it on target. Nando can't find the touch into the middle. The other goal denied for Loughborough by small misses on the ball. Stamina in towards the centre. Turblo shot on the post. Stamina will clear things up. And the pressure comes good. Loughborough opened the scoring.
That's exactly what they want to be doing this game, getting ahead first. I mean, Stamina reaching for that one, only just Turblo with a good shot to put that at least on the goal line and cleaning up. Decent enough. Only 30 seconds in, they've got this lead. So if they treat this like a 0-0, they treat it like a clean slate, they can again work with that mentality of needing to make sure they get ahead of their opponents, and they'll be in a good position. Getting out to a 2-0 lead would be crucial for them. Also, as long as they want to make sure they're in their opponent's head, they've got that pressure maintained, and well, Ant-Man can force down the other end. Maybe there's a follow-up here. No, not quite. Nando has been great when it comes down to that clutch snipe again. Up, there's opportunities, but Stamina going to shut these down as it's forced out. Maybe Ant-Man with the shot. That will be over one. The follow-up as well. Again, players diving left, right, and center from both sides. No one able to get anything through just yet.
Reset a little bit of halfway line. Snipe coming forward. Gets the dodge in towards the back line. Not quite the clearance Stamina would have hoped for, but it is the heroic clear up from Nando that helps out the Loughborough team. Klepmakers denies Turblo. Stamina can't be blocked. As Turblo goes high, the drop down. No one challenging from Loughborough. Both of them waiting patiently back to allow things to play out. Snipe. Shot just going high as Turblo pushed out towards the side. Careful defense coming in from the Loughborough team. Ant-Man towards the backboard, cleared out again by Turblo. As UEA will be controlling the midfield line. This was a problem in the previous series early on for the Loughborough team, but they have sort of more settled into this one. So UEA will have to come at them a little bit more carefully from the halfway line to get through Loughborough. Big pinch in towards the backboard. They'll pop up off the back lines. Eklapmakers drop into the middle. Ant-Man is there. The shot is on target. Great play from UEA. They will tie up the game with a good passing play between the two top players on the side.
And well, they've mitigated any sort of lead that Loughborough had, and any sort of momentum that potentially they had as well. You mentioned that, yeah, that midfield line, that middle third of the pitch is something they've struggled to penetrate, breaking out of on defense. And again, this ball already back in this orange half, and that's only just out by Turblo. I don't know how intentional that was, whether it was a pre-jump save or just going for the ball and getting a lucky touch, but either way, yeah, it's that pressure, unable to break out of their own real third, their own box, and only just as the first chance. We're seeing so many double commits from Loughborough when they've been on the defensive, which makes me think that they're starting to panic. They're getting in their own heads about it, and they don't want to be making those mistakes too often. Instead, if they can just calm it down, play their own game, which we've seen before, it works so effectively. If they're forced into something their opponents want them to do, it leads to panicking, it leads to overcommit, it leads to just bad decision making. Instead, there's maybe a chance there. No, Nando can't reach. Nando still without a goal today, and only just is that one put above the bar by Stamina too.
The goal was there for Stamina to hit. What about Turblo now? Dropped down, stopped again by the UEA team. That was almost again a fascinating and incredible passing play coming in from Loughborough. Shot by Eklapmakers just puts a little bit of pressure on Nando, not fully committing to any plays at the moment. The UEA side just getting shots on. Eklapmakers on the back line, trying to take it out wide. Will be denied by Loughborough. They're now the ones holding the midfield line, and in fact holding the boost controlled. Shot saved by Ant-Man. That was almost the leading goal Ant-Man trying to bring it out towards the side. Nando in the way, takes it past one. Can he take past Snipe? No, that's dropped into the net.
Oh no.
That's a positive UEA moment. Because the only question we're asking is, how has that happened against Loughborough? Oh no.
Well, twice. And I was thinking, maybe looking at the clock, looking at the pace of this game and the exchange of possession, the next goal could be it. And, well, with 75 seconds left, it's difficult to imagine Loughborough scoring. If they did, it wouldn't be unbelievable. And that would have been amazing. Nando, he's put one in. That's the first goal of today. It took, what's this, the 7th game? No, this is the... even more so. Wow, is that 10th game he's played or something? And this is his first goal somehow. Put it through, but when his team needed him most, he came in clutch here. Turblo dimes up with the assist, but more importantly, putting that just out of reach of anyone else. And, well, a minute left now, and there's still a chance if Loughborough can score again in the next sort of 60 seconds or so, then there's still a chance they stay in this game, they can take it, they can tie this series up and put themselves still in a favourable position.
UEA in control again. Eclatmacker's past one, can't get past the super sub themselves. Off towards the backboard, Ant-Man dropping it down to the middle, but no one from UEA joining this UEA side, getting so many chances that they're not being able to jump on, as they're all just being a little bit too defensive-minded. They've seen way too many Loughborough counterattacks, and they do not like that, how quickly they can be sprung. Eclatmacker's getting control. Nando will block that out as that drops down towards the backboard. Stamina has time. Can't take it past one, though. It's Ant-Man's challenge. The first one gets blocked out. Snipe off towards the backboard. Ant-Man's there, blocked out by Turblo. Here's an opportunity for Loughborough as Stamina can't find the net. Eclatmacker's gets a clearance, but here comes Nando off towards the backboard. This Loughborough side could have something, but I think Ant-Man might have just saved the day with the last demo there to get rid of Stamina. That would have been the next follow-up shot as it hits the floor. 2-2 overtime. Next goal is going to be so important for the rest of the series.
Indeed, it will. Either ties it up or it gives the advantage and the series point to UEA. It gives them such just that boost of morale, and I'm sure that Loughborough need it even more so. They've been trodden on all series. They got that one win, but otherwise it's been pretty difficult for them to formulate any sort of game plan to effect. And, well, maybe Snipe, he's going to try to put that through. Oh my goodness, bottom corner. Eclatmacker's, there's still a chance. Nando keeps it out. Nando has a save medal, being absolutely phenomenal on defense. Ant-Man, that shot's going to be in towards him. My goodness, again, chances. So many of them. Stamina looking for a teammate. That's going to be Nando. Was the target, still missed. And is there a chance the next team to break through? They may just be able to run away with this.
1 minute in. Big clearance. Eclatmacker's has to get back. This is big pressure coming in from Loughborough. Stamina. Next shot. That'll be going wide. Does cost Ant-Man a little bit of a boost to have to pursue it, but it is the big clearance that comes through for the UEA man. Snipe. Up. Standing off the backboard. Getting a little bit of control. Takes it past one. Can take past Nando. Big 50 comes through. Does take it past. Ant-Man. Out towards the side. Eclatmacker's turn. Off the backboard. In towards the center. Sniper's there. The shot is stopped by Turblo. Very simply from the Loughborough team. Still, UEA pressure. Big whiff from Snipe. But no one from Loughborough dare challenge at the moment. In case of goal. The overtime nerves are starting to set in for both of these teams. Both of them just relaxing and staying back a little bit too much. Turblo, the shot is going wide, but Ant-Man would have made this stop. I think that was a smart move just to get a little bit of pressure going on the UEA team. Out towards the side. Turblo in towards the middle. Snipe getting in the way. Drops back down. Eclatmacker's. Here he comes. Looking for the second touch off the ceiling. Turblo in the way. Down to the center. Ant-Man. Shot. Stamina's last one back. Taking that out towards the side. Ant-Man's there though. Well read. Snipe on towards the backboard. Can he recover? No! This has been so back and forth, but there's the last moment, the last shot, the last touch needed by either of these teams is not coming together to find this one overtime goal. Loughborough, they are still in this as UEA cannot find the net once again.
All three players from UEA, they've gone there. We've reached more than 2.5 minutes, well, more than half a game, or more than half a regulation game. Again, Eclatmacker's goes for the shot. That's going to be Ant-Man trying. There's so many chances that, just like you said, that last clinical touch, that last ability to find that top or bottom corner away from any defenders. They can't quite reach it. Instead as well, it's forced back into this orange half, and we're seeing so many shots from both teams at both ends right now. It's sustained pressure on Loughborough by UEA. Ant-Man's up. He's not going to get much forward pressure. Instead, tries to keep momentum away from the opponents and snipe again up. He's going to be beat by Turblo. Eclet Mackers stays with it, wants to beat over one, but no, instead the 50 on the side. Ant-Man, what can he do with this? Well, maybe there's a chance if he can just scoop it over. He wants to touch round one. That's going to be way too high, and unfortunately, there'll be no immediate chance there.
I think UEA just the calmer of the teams at the moment, but it might backfire as Turblo comes through. Second touch, the drop down's not found. But still, Loughborough pressure, stamina, can't find a way past Ant-Man. But here comes Turblo again, and both Turblo and Mackers can't find the touch to push it outfield. UEA on the front foot as Ant-Man brings it forward, past one off the backboard. Turblo again, not quite the clearance that Loughborough need at this moment in time as it drops down to Snipe. Eclat Mackers hunting for a demo, doesn't find it. Stamina on the line, making the stop. Here comes Ant-Man, the shot goes low. Turblo makes the save. Eclat Mackers pushing it towards the corner. Loughborough managed to escape just for a moment, but only long enough for Snipe to get into position. Here's the chance for Loughborough. The counter upfield. Eclat Mackers is there first though, but at the corner. Eclat Mackers, again, the first one. Loughborough not jumping in so quickly. I think they're starting to calm down. As Stamina back in net, saved, just gets away from the demo, gets away from the bump. As we approach the 5-minute mark, this Loughborough team hunting for that goal, but Eclat Mackers getting in the way of that opportunity, and it goes straight back to the orange half, dropping down in front of net. Eclat Mackers drops it to Snipe. The shot saved from Nando. Ant-Man has enough boost, hops up, drops it down for Eclat Mackers. Again, it falling in towards the Loughborough net. They have an opportunity, but again, Loughborough, they are just doing enough and just having enough time to start getting enough boost and springing a counter. Turblo, pinch off the ceiling. What could this be? A goal! Loughborough, they find the nets and they tie up the series!
Somehow, the rotations were fractured. Everyone scrambling for something of use, and Turblo, that's going to be more than useful. That's going to be a goal. That's going to be the one that secures the win and ties the series at 2-2. Oh my goodness. Well, it's far from over as well. There's still several games we've got to go through before we find a winner, before we find our third land attendant. But Loughborough, they've found a lifeline. They've found the ability again to just put that together. And maybe, they will be visiting Nottingham.
This has been a ridiculous series. This has been absolute insanity. UEA, they were very patient in the game, waiting for just the right moment. And Loughborough just started doing the same towards the end of that overtime. They were just waiting for that one moment that UEA would give them. But in the end, the goal comes out of nowhere. The goal comes from the unexpected. Turblo getting the pinch off the ceiling that just flies into the net. That moment of doing the unexpected breaks down the team that is so well structured and so well rotating as the UEA team. The one moment, the one time that they just let things get a little bit too loose is the moment that Turblo pinches it off the ceiling straight towards net and finds the goal that sends this to an equal series, 2-2.
And again, there was a touch, I can't remember who from, but one of the UEA players got only just a touch of that, which meant that it actually powered into the blue net with even more power. But, well, they could get to that, but just not quite. It was indeed the ability from Turblo to catch them off guard, read that, get the pinch, and get just something that was, I mean, I didn't expect it. I only really comprehended what happened a few seconds after it happened, purely because of how difficult to read that was. And if you're a defender in such a high-paced game, you know, you're trying to track boost your teammates, other players on the pitch, everything, something like that, it's going to catch you off guard, and it's going to mean that you're not ready to quite react to it. And just like that, well, maybe there's actually a chance here. Nando looking to
Stamina.
Stamina who can't. Oh my goodness, that man get back only just. And well, Loughborough, they won't be able to put that one through just yet.
So after the absolute insanity of that game 3, both teams have to go again. And it seems to be business as usual. UEA can set up these small passing plays, and Eclat Mackers opens up the scoring. And that is a wonderful time to score a goal after such an important overtime has been lost. Getting back instantly with a goal to start off in the first minute is so vital for this UEA roster. Kick off again. Snipe, Nando coming together. Big win for the Loughborough team to put that into the blue half. Clapmakers takes it past one. Doesn't have any boost to push it any further. This UEA team will be making the most of the clearance as Snipe comes in for the big challenge. I think UEA just, again, getting their footing again. They have not missed a beat in this series, that has to be said. Anytime there's been a goal, they've just been back to it, back to business. So big double commit comes through. The small errors coming in that Loughborough will have to make the most of. As Nando has an opportunity.
Easy.
Small error again, but they don't make the most of it. What about Turblo? Turblo does. Small error from UEA. Blown into massive proportions.
Yep. Ant-Man and Snipe, they both go for it. As much as that initial shot wasn't quite put in, none other than Turblo, who has been the most impactful player we've seen today, of course. And just like that, again, going to add to that impact rating by putting this through, tying the game up. And it seems like UEA, they're more cohesive. They're working together as a unit. But when it comes to Loughborough, they've got that clutch. They know what they need to do. And they can make those individual plays. They can make those plays that still give them and the rest of the team time to set back, whether it's on defense or, work forward on offense, and really gives them time on the ball. And, well, Turblo wants to shut that down. What a shot. What an angle from Turblo. We've put them ahead. And Loughborough, again, they're going to lead in the game.
Turblo's up. What is this? How do you find that shot in such a vital series, in a vital game, and just have the confidence to do that? This has been a miraculous find for Loughborough. The only question is, could Kruki have done this?
I think
he's hoping that question doesn't have to be answered.
Kruki and Nando. We've seen Nando with these two. I don't know about Kruki, but there may be a bit of a fight for that third place spot. Maybe this is just Turblo's day and he's playing absolutely insane. Maybe he is really what they need if they want to be progressing. They want to make some waves on LAN. And we've seen Turblo. I think there's an argument enough to make sure that he's there. There's a week and a half till it, so there's time for form to ebb and flow. But stamina, he's consistent. Turblo, he seems to be God's gift, and well, it's all about that third player, who they bring in, who they scrim with, what their plans are. Clapmakers, he's missed somehow. Oh my goodness, that was an open net. That should have been a tie game at a halfway mark, but instead, it's going to be still a lead for Loughborough.
Straight towards the backboard, Turblo clearing the lines. Ant-Man comes in, that's dropping towards net. Stamina just pokes it out wide. Just again, the Loughborough team just doing enough on defense to get themselves free from any offensive pressure. Now Clapmakers getting in the way of any defensive rotations for the Loughborough side. Snipe towards net, off the backboard. Ant-Man is there. The next shot, but again, Turblo getting in the way. As you can see, Loughborough just doing enough. Can they do enough this time? Yes, they can. Nando keeping it away. Snipe in towards the middle. Turblo points it out towards the center. Ant-Man getting the 50. That'll drop towards Loughborough once again. Boost game picked up by Ant-Man, but again, big 50s, big clearances are keeping Loughborough alive and keeping this lead alive and taking it away from UEA. We've already had one sort of slight shock, I would say, with Roehampton not getting to LAN, staying in the upper bracket. We could be facing another slight shock as Loughborough could be taking down UEA and taking them to match point.
Well, that was a scuff shot and a half. Doesn't even register as a shot, I believe. There's still just over a minute left. There's still plenty of time for UEA to still fight back in this. Ant-Man, there's a shot that's going to be again high and wide. Maybe the follow-up of Klepmakers once the other bottom corner. It's still put in. I think he got the final touch for that as well. Only just, but a tied game at the minute mark. And yes, he did actually have to recover off the post just to tuck it in. And well, good awareness, great recovery, and a nice way to still give your team a chance in this fifth game.
Nando just... I don't think... That was a very uncomfortable save, to be fair to him. But not quite the right touch to keep it away from players. But as you say, fantastic reactions from Clapmakers to make sure that's in the back of the net. Clapmakers trying to take it away, but again, Turblo straight on it, getting the challenge in. Out towards Nando, shots on target, bit of a scuff shot. Clapmakers will clear this out straight to Ant-Man. Comes the challenge from UEA, trying to find the lead. It's their turn take charge in this game as that drops down in front of Net. Who gets there first? Loughborough does, but again, it's a slight miscommunication as Clapmackers trying to drop it down towards Ant-Man. What about Snipe? The shot in towards Net. Ant-Man has to rotate, but it's past him. Nando taking it upfield with the last few seconds to tick down. We could be looking at a second overtime, considering the chaos of the first one. My goodness, what have we walked into? Turblo, shot, big demo, no overtime! 6 seconds to go. Loughborough could be going to match point.
Klepmaker's demoed on the goal line. Turblo with the shot anyway. Would have been difficult to save, and yet the turnaround Snipe doesn't have the turning circle on that. Instead, 6 seconds, like you say, there's a chance. There's such a chance. Kickoff goals haven't quite been favourable for UEA so far in this series. Maybe they can find something here. Snipe up to Klepmakers, but have to read
what a
the
start
touch from Stamina, and that is exactly what you're looking for. And again, in a game that I really wasn't sure how they'd fare in, UEA, well, they played well. I'll give it to them. They have fought well. Loughborough, they now have 2 chances to make it to land. UEA, they were expected to do more than this. I feel like they would have hoped that this series was in bed by now, and they were well on their way to Nottingham. But the fight back from these players, and Turblo, I don't know what he'd have for breakfast, but it's done something to him.
I want whatever it is. I want whatever he had for breakfast.
Yes, indeed.
We are going to be having an interview afterwards, but I think I know if Loughborough win, I know who I want to interview, and it's a very simple choice for me.
Yeah,
but there's still this one game. There's still this one hurdle that they need to overcome if they want to punch their tickets to Nottingham. If Turblo wants to get on stream to have an interview with us, so it's a long way to go. It is a surprisingly long way to go when you sort of consider where we are. One game to go. That's all it takes, but it's still a mammoth 5 minutes for this Loughborough team to punch their tickets to Nottingham.
I mean, you say 5 minutes. It could be 10 if we're talking overtime again. It could be more. That would be absolutely insane.
Oh, no.
Look, I'd love it, but leave it to Game 7 before we get that, I think. Just to be safe. Just for the content, if we get there. If you want to see that this really a great run from lower bracket, the first round of lower bracket as well, to make it to that top 3, to make it to that losers final. Well, you want Loughborough to win this. If you want, that Turblo interview, maybe to see more of him on LAN as well. Of course, you want Loughborough to win, but if you're a UEA fan, you know how good they are. You want maybe what you expect to just be that rivalry on LAN between UEA, Warwick, and Roehampton. Well, you want the boys in blue to win. It's a tough ask. I don't know. I don't want to barrack for either team. I want them to both do well. At Game 7, I think would do this series justice, and these players, well, they want to fight tooth and nail. Every goal, every shot, I feel at this point matters to the momentum of this game and this series. Snipe wants to start it off early like that.
Clapmackers just popping up, waiting for the attack, going for the demo. Turblo is too strong and just avoids it. Snipe, not Spike, trying to find the net. Opening things up again for UEA. Clapmackers off the backboard. Turblo finding the clearance. Snipe moving forward, trying to pitch the lead with Ant-Man. A shot just on target, but Stamina will push that away. Clapmackers. Patience is not rewarded as Nando takes it around 1. And for the Philip Rousset, finds it away past 2, but not past Snipe, as that clearance is huge upfield. Stamina trying to clear the back lines. But again, big clear challenge from UEA. Big 51. But you just drop back and give them time. UEA are being very careful on attack, but at the moment, it's not really what they need.
Yeah, they really just need to put the go pedal down as fast as possible. We've seen what happens when Loughborough panic and it doesn't end well for their own goal. Instead, UEA, well, they worked well. The cohesion in the first game, I feel more than anything, it caught Loughborough off guard. They couldn't quite deal with the pressure and the press from UEA, and instead, that resulted in conceding and both goals and that game. Ant-Man and the rest of UEA, they're going to work forward again. It seems like they're trying to play really methodical, really, calculated, and they don't want that. They want to be making sure that, if anything, Loughborough, they can get in their heads. It's been difficult, and Loughborough, if anything, I think they have the morale, they have the ego boost here. It's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. Stamina, if he can put one through, maybe with a teammate instead, it'll be even better. And I don't know what's going to happen for the UEA nerves. I don't know what happens to their mental. I'm not entirely sure what that's like from, a coach's perspective or anything like that. But it's going to get in their heads that they could still lose out on something that they thought was a sure deal going into today.
I can tell you for one, as a coach, sort of thinking that you have something under wraps and then missing out on it, it hurts. It hurts so much. You almost have no control.
Yeah.
You almost have no control on it. You can give your players as much advice, but it's them who have to execute. And it hurts when you sort of try and give them all the tools and they can't quite convert. Snipe.
Well.
KJ might be relaxing a little bit. KJ might be relaxing just a little bit.
Look, the tools he has is some clinical finishing, and that top corner shot will prove it that it doesn't get much more top corner than that, let's be real. And again, not too long left on this clock. They've got the lead and they've got time to their advantage. Klettmakers should be able to get this as well. Maybe a one-on-one with Stamina can get over. That's not going to be an immediately. The follow-up is well going to be a demo on Nando instead of a goal. Not quite the outcome they're looking for, but Stamina not the best clearance. Instead has to get the follow-up. And again, Klettmakers pass the other team, and Nando actually gets a phenomenal 50 all the way to the other side. Oh no, a miss. Ant-Man clears up the mistake, and there's an opportunity. This counter-attack could prove lethal. Not immediately, though, and hopefully UEA can keep on this pressure if they want to be building on this lead.
They really need a few more goals. Considering the chaos that this game has been, considering how well Loughborough are playing, they cannot sit on a one-goal lead. If this game ends 1-0, I'll be very, very surprised. Stamina taking it off the wall. Snipe needs to get round. Doesn't quite. Klettmakers towards backboard, dropping that towards middle. Turbolo gets in the way. His Stamina, open nets, can't quite get the angle. Klettmakers trying to take control. Doesn't quite have the second touch, but here's Snipe. Turbolo blocks that play out. Ant-Man almost found a way over him. This Loughborough team. That's an open net.
Maybe?
Don't think they'll be able to... Ooh. That is very well played. That is very, very well played from the UEA team. I didn't think he could get the angle. He didn't go for the angle. He just went for the pass into the centre.
Look, that's got to be some comms, if anything. Obviously, you expect your teammate to be there, but to know that they are and to know where exactly you want it, what pace, when, that's going to come down to teamwork and comms. And they'll be feeling pretty chuffed about that, I feel. And actually, Snipe going to have to back off for this one. Ant-Man launches it up, and at about that 30-second mark, Snipe maybe looking to put one more, and that hat-trick would be pretty nice. Snipe has 6 shots this game, actually. 6 shots himself. That's going to be 10 for the team, 1 for Loughborough. They really haven't been that good on offense this game. Instead, just holding their own back line, which also hasn't worked too well. Down by 2 with 20 seconds left, you assume this game is over for them, and maybe a third. That could put this game to bed. There we go, 3 and 15. Pretty much impossible if you're Loughborough, and we have a Game 7 on our hands. And these 3 goals, they'll give UEA the momentum and the confidence, I feel, rather than, just a 1-0 that they've managed to eke out. No, they feel like they can still win. They know that they can score against Loughborough no matter what the serious score is, no matter what the occasion is.
It's just been a little bit of a tidier game from UEA. It's just I was thinking about saying that. Big whiff for me, Klettmakers, to decide, hey, it's not 100% clean, here's a whiff. But we take the last second down. I'm so glad that after this chaos, that this series has been done justice. Game 7, Champions Field, for a spot at Nottingham, at Nottingland, let's say. That eye roll. I'm just seeing out the corner of an eye. Yeah. It is Nottingland. There's no other way you can do it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, might as well call it that. And, well, UEA, Loughborough, Game 7. I didn't expect this at all. UEA didn't expect this. I don't know what Loughborough thought. I'd be interested to hear what they think. But they'll have to win so we can get the interview to find out. But you want to have that confidence going into it. UEA certainly did. Whether or not they still have that same level of confidence now, that's a different matter in Loughborough. I'm sure their willingness to thrive and their ability to really unlock their inner beast has tripled, if anything. It seems they found the new gear. They know what they need to do, and it's all about doing it. They've done it 3 times. Both these teams, they've done it 3 times. It's that 4th that eludes them, and it's taken this long to get to that point. I'm gonna be a bit mean here, Dragon. I want to ask for a prediction. Who do you think wins this?
Oh, you can't do that to me because I've got the caster curse. I
Yeah.
told you at the start of this, I don't predict
Everyone,
because I know
I've
it
cast
curses
the
someone.
custard more times than I can count. Okay.
This entire thing is just a coin flip. It
Yeah.
could go either way. I'm going to avoid the coin flip and say it landed straight onto its side and didn't go anywhere, just so I can avoid